All right. Thanks everyone for joining us. I am Dan Gaston, Madside DM, your dungeon master here on Variant Roles for the Autumn Cruise stream through Waterdeep Dragon Heist. We have two very special guests today playing who will introduce themselves momentarily. And so thank you for joining us on our multi-stream, mega stream, Borg stream extravaganza here on Variant Roles. Excited to be here on our giveaway week, so hopefully we will hit 25 viewers at some point tonight and unlock that at the end of the stream. But that's all for later, because we are here to play some Dungeons and Dragons with some awesome people in an awesome campaign adventure. So, without further ado, I will stop yammering so we can go around and meet the cool people who make this happen. So why don't we start today with Jeff. Jeff, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm Jeff, Atomic Straw on Twitter. I'm playing Thaddeus Brosfeather tonight, Waterdeep noble, who likes to talk to goblins, apparently.
Well, I think that has turned out to be handy indeed, and I suspect even more handy tonight.
Perhaps so.
All right, let's kick it over to Matt. How are you doing, Matt?
Matt, hey, I'm doing well. I am Matt. You can find me on Twitter at Learning Kim, excuse me, and I play Styx. Basically bouncer for hire and fixer.
We're working on making that a hero for hire, but without infringing on any Marvel copyright.
Yeah, there you go.
Excellent, thanks. Nox, how are you doing?
I'm good. I spent my Halloween just hanging out here, playing scary ass games and screaming a lot. So much so that I wasn't sure if I was at risk of my neighbors calling the cops on me. So yeah, I haven't. I turned into the typical streamer stereotype of picking your headphones off and tearing them off. I didn't understand why people do that. Now I do. Anyways, for our not as scary game, I'm playing the Eladrin Bard, Dahlia.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And so the first of our very special guest players, longtime viewer, supporter, all-around awesome guy. Alex, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm Alex. You can find me on Twitter at AxolotlCure. Tonight I will be playing Cleo, the Drow Wizard, and I'm just excited to be with you guys.
Excellent. Well, we are happy to have you here. And I'd say rumor has it, but from what you've told me, this is also your first time streaming, right?
This is my first time streaming anything. I'm super excited.
I am super excited as well. Excellent. And last, but certainly not least, another, supporter and someone who offered plenty of advice when I was bugging them about running this stream. Hannah, how are you doing? Oh, I think you're
I'm
muted.
good. There we go.
There we go.
Didn't want you to hear my cats crunching away on their dinner. I am Hannah. I normally do filmed games, not live, so this is fun. And you can find me on Twitter at Wild Rose Mage. And I will be playing Sorrel, a Goblin Druid Gardener.
See, I told you, Jeff. Goblins everywhere. Excellent. All right, thank you very much. All right, so diving in where we left off, our crew was in the process of taking ownership of Trollskull Manor, meeting their neighbors in Trollskull Alley, and potentially getting recruited by both the Grey Hands under Vajra the Blackstaff and the Zentarum, who both offered them quests. And in the process of renovating their manor house, which they have converted into, if I have this right, a tavern, a gray market / semi-illegal fight ring, a artisanal donut shop, and a training school / boarding school for wayward goblins.
Yep.
Excellent.
Kinda-
That sounds about right.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. And the goblins, of course, are learning plenty of life skills, is the idea, by having them work in the tavern, making donuts, apprenticeships around Trollskull Alley. I think that was the general idea. So Trollskull Alley is now becoming a hub for plenty of Goblin Youth.
Goblin Donut Alley.
Goblin Donut Alley. Excellent.
There we go.
We're on a rebranding campaign.
Exactly. All right, so we will pick up in the morning, a morning when almost all of you, minus Doc, who is off doing some work with his family's apothecary business, and Emmeline Brosfeather, who has disappeared into Waterdeep, potentially chasing her old beau. We're not 100% sure, but that would be a good assumption. So we are picking up in the morning after you were approached by both the Zentarum and the Blackstaff, when you have been debating on what to do. So to remind you and our viewers, the Blackstaff wanted you to check out a dragon who's apparently living in Waterdeep Harbour, and the Zentarum want you to do something about some elves and half-elves who are losing their heads, quite literally, in the dock ward.
Yep.
Thaddeus, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'll be the first to admit that growing up a scion of a noble house is perhaps not the best training ground for useful life skills. But one thing that my sister and I both learned pretty well is how to play friendly with people and act like you care about them when you really don't give a damn.
Yeah,
I don't see why we can't do that here.
that's a pretty useful skill.
Yeah, that's my feelings on this one both. I mean, either way, if we don't take both of these, we end up running the risk of attracting attention from somebody that we don't necessarily want to attract attention from. You know, I really don't want to have the Zents all over me. You know, it's bad enough having the job that I do.
And I, of course, have reasons not to trust the Blackstaff, but I do admit my sister may have had a bit of a point that she may be useful to extract some information from.
Where are we at? Are we at the tavern right now?
Yeah, I'm assuming
The
that's
manor?
kind of where you meet in the mornings, you know, there's work going on the manor still. It's not totally open. And I imagine upstairs, way upstairs in the attic, you can hear the thump, 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 thump of goblin
tiny
feet
goblin
running
feet.
around.
Ah!
Yeah, as you've started to accumulate some guests. Some of them are like working with the tradesmen, you know, like doing illicit carpentry work.
So good. I think I'm like in my chair, leaning back on it, boots on the table, cross at the ankle, you know, my hands behind my head, and I look at Thaddeus and Styx. I don't really give a shit what either of you two want to do, but I have no intentions to join ranks with anybody. But I'm also not going to stand idly by, and I just like stare at Thaddeus while my kind are being murdered. So hopefully, whatever you two decide to do includes helping me on that.
Oh, I mean, that's understandable. I mean, both of them need to be done.
Oh, absolutely. Although I must admit, murder is not the worst thing for business.
I'm sorry, what?
You remember, dear, that I work in the city of the dead, right?
Don't dare me, Thaddeus. We're not on those kind of terms.
Anyway, I do believe that both these things should be done, and I see no reason to pledge ourselves to anyone at this point, but we sure can act like we will.
All right. So how do we need to approach this?
As far as I understand it, the dragon isn't really causing anybody any trouble at the moment, right?
That's what I was thinking too. Also, too, I really don't have any overwhelming urge to want to go fiddling with a dragon at this point right now.
You never fiddled with a dragon before?
No.
Well, you
Yeah,
know,
no.
that's there's a first time for everybody, Sticks.
That's true. True.
So about this time when you are talking, there's a boom, boom, boom on the front door.
Now who's calling?
Are we open for business?
Not yet, not officially.
No.
I asked Thaddeus and Sticks.
Mm-mm. Not that I know of, unless somebody snuck something past me.
Thaddeus, why don't you go answer it? You're better at greeting new people. You've got like an air of you think you're important around you.
Fine then. Don't we have a steward?
Not unless you trained one of your goblins.
I'll have to get on that. I'll go up to the door and open the door and just look at whoever's there.
All right. Cleo, why don't you describe for us what Thaddeus sees when he opens the door?
So 10 feet back from the door with a little Mickey Mouse glove mage hand that was doing the knocking. You see a drow who's about like 4'10", with sort of like teal hair, a sand-colored robe, and like a shawl over his shoulders, and looking very excited that someone has opened the door. Hi.
Hello there.
Do you own this place?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. And I just like bumble my way on through, just kind of like
Um,
scooch my way in.
may I
So-
ask what you are doing here?
Yeah, so I work for Miss Safar, the Blackstaff, and we wanted you to talk to a dragon that's in the harbor.
Yes.
And the
We
dragon.
were just discussing that very thing.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is that dragon is still there. And so she sent me to accompany you until the dragon is not there, or until you say that you are no longer interested in taking this job.
Well, that seems reasonable. Sticks, should we get some of our staff on the other matter of interest and go talk to a dragon? I think they may have some connections.
I think that would be a good idea. I mean, literally, we have with just the three of us right now, with your sister being somewhere and Dot
Crossgraves.
hanging out. We're kind of spread a little thin right now. So, Dahlia, you think you can maybe find out some more information about what's going on with the elves and half elves coming up, minus the upper half of them?
What was your character's name again? Sorry, I gotta write it down.
Sticks.
No, not you.
Cleo.
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 Cleo. Okay. Yeah, as Cleo, as you round the corner, because I don't know what you know about her characters, but what you see is this like 6 foot tall, athletically built ladrin, ruddy brown skin, purplish red hair, dressed well, very attractive. But yeah, as you round the corner, and I'm just kind of like having like a side conversation with Styx, waiting for Thaddeus to bring you in, and I see you, like my eyes just go wide, and I just watch you like silently as you introduce yourself, as you move around, and then Styx, when you ask your question, I kind of like take like a shuddering inhale. Yeah, I can. I think I can do that. I need to. I'm gonna go upstairs and check on the goblins, and I quickly and abruptly just pass by, and head upstairs.
Okay.
That's a very tall elf.
Outside, Hannah, what is Sorrel doing right now?
Sorrel
Or
is
Sorrel?
looking at the front of Trollskull Manor, and I think there's a little bit of kind of dilapidated front garden, maybe around the fence. This like little strip of
It'd be pretty
grass.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Dilapidated might even be a kind word for it.
Yeah.
I don't think Bull is much of a gardener. And so Sorrel is looking at this and peering around, glancing up and down the alley, and then steels themselves and take a deep breath to march up the front stairs.
Excellent. Yeah, so that front garden is, I mean, it's autumn, so a lot of it's dead. Although you did notice there was some strange kind of it was like a vine that still had some lingering dark purple sort of flowers, but like you know how flowers when the petals are closed and they're just kind of hanging, droop down they're like that, sort of just hanging limply there. It was the only living thing you noticed in them.
Sorrel takes a little bit of the dirt that's on the ground and rubs it between their fingers and then licks it and
Yeah, it doesn't taste good, actually. It tastes wrong, is the only way you can describe it.
like poisoned wrong, or like bad magic wrong, or just something.
Yeah, like bad magic wrong. Like, you know, there's a variety of ways that dirt should taste. And channeling the sea.
Flavorful, mostly.
Yeah, and channeling the sea team for a moment. Imagine dark dirt. It tastes almost like the inverse of dirt.
Mm.
So I imagine if Cleo just worked in, I would still be standing at the door. And
That's true. You're probably still standing at the door. Yeah.
But I see them eat, tasting the dirt. I'm like, oh, I doubt. And Goblin, I doubt you want to do that.
Oh, well, did you know your dirt is wrong?
Not much about this place is right, I'm afraid.
Well, I'm a gardener, and I thought perhaps I could help you. I hear that you have some friends, my sister's uncle's cousin, and no, my second cousin's uncle's sister-in-law told me that you are Styx, yes?
I'm Thaddeus. Styx is inside, yes.
Yes. You are Thaddeus. That is your name. And you have goblin friends.
Indeed we do. We do not have a gardener, though, as far as I know.
I am a gardener. I can garden. And maybe I can help your dirt because it tastes very bad.
I just kind of look around at everything. I'm like, we could use some help. Come on in. Introduce yourself.
So Sorrel climbs up the front steps and nods to Cleo. Thaddeus, I am Sorrel. I can be your gardener.
Well, you are welcome here. I'm sure we need a gardener. And I turn around to Styx. Styx here. He is kind of our security here.
That.
And In common, I'll say, now, Six, this is garden. She's offering gardening help, and I see no reason we can't provide some training for her as well.
More the merrier. It's
Training?
not like we don't have a whole lot of them.
What kind of training do you do here?
Oh,
Do you-
I mean, just to, in Goblin, I'll say, we're just kind of train you to make a better impression on people who might have wrong ideas about goblins.
Oh, yes, I guess that could be very helpful. It is very hard to get a job as a gardener.
What I'm hearing is it's very hard for many goblins to get jobs, and we're looking to change that.
Well, it is true. The last job I had was very good, but then their guards saw that there was a goblin digging in the garden and tried to arrest me, and that didn't go so well. So I promise I do not actually cause any trouble. I will fix the dirt, and I will work on my common so it is better, and I can talk to your friends. Is this a friend? And Sorrel points to Cleo and says in common, you have color hair.
I do. You're very green.
Thank you.
Well, this will be most interesting. But come along, let me introduce you to some of the others. Cleo, was it? We will be with you in a moment.
Okay.
And I'll take Cyril upstairs to the other goblins and kind of introduce them around.
There is, I don't, is it a parcel? I'm not sure what the collective noun for goblins should be. It should be alliterative. So if anyone, any of you or anyone in chat can think of a good...
A grumble of goblins?
A grumble of goblins, yes.
I like
I
it.
love it. I love
That's
it. I love
cute.
it, Hannah. Excellent. That is now canon. We will message Chris
Does-
Perkins and make sure
should-
he knows this.
I think Sorrel should get inspiration for that.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for the reminder, because I ask players to sometimes remind me because I am bad about forgetting that. So yes, Hannah, Sorrel has a point of inspiration for your wonderful alliterative group naming.
I would say the dirt was so tasty it gave me inspiration, but it really wasn't.
No, it was the exact opposite of inspiring. All right, so you go introduce. There is a whole grumble of goblins upstairs rumbling around of various ages. I imagine Sorrel actually probably knows some of them, maybe related. There's sort of a nearby clan that a lot of them have come from.
Yeah. Sorrel probably doesn't have any close family members there, but they are definitely interested in meeting other goblins who are trying to not live in the sewers and have some aspirations to trade schools. Because I don't know, are there any other goblins there who do any magic?
Ooh, good question. Yeah, I think so. There's probably, I imagine there is a goblin there, a young male goblin named Bent. And Bent is the son of a goblin warlock. And is himself a warlock, but, he's like a teeny tiny, level 0.5 warlock. He's just made his pact.
Aww.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
To an archfey.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think as Thaddeus is escorting Sorrel around, that at some point you would find me up there and I'm chatting with Bent about like the Feywild. Like, oh wow, you made a pact with an archfey. It's a very interesting choice.
Yeah, yeah. Very nice lady. Yeah, lady. Very nice fey lady.
Fey lady, and Sorrel points to Dahlia.
Oh,
Are you a pretty Fey lady?
Sometimes.
Ben just kind of cocks his head and does the like smile and nod. Yeah, patron. Pretty fey lady.
Sorrel does their best bow to Dahlia.
I just smile and nod my head. It's a pleasure to meet you, Sorrel. You are obviously more than welcome amongst the crew that we've amassed here. I see you've met Thaddeus. I hope he's been pleasant.
Oh, he was very nice to me and with new friend with green hair.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's down there.
Me learn this, and Bent casts prestidigitation and makes like a whole bunch of sparks and sort of like miniature fireworks like sparkle through the air, and then they, the fireworks then turn into almost like pixie dust raining down, and sort of Suda does that, and he just goes, ooh, and he's just totally entranced with his own fireworks display.
There you go.
Great job, Bent. That was excellent. You should do that at our opening.
Yeah, entertainer.
Yes, perfect.
Sorrel clasps their hands together and blows on them and opens up their palm, and a little flower grows out of it, and they pluck the flower and hand it to Dahlia. A pretty flower for a pretty fey?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I just look slightly flustered and tuck it behind my ear.
And Bent just like starts stomping around the room and like doing fireworks. Practice.
Yes, I love it. What next?
Well, I suppose we better deal with the Blackstaff matter to get our apparently unwelcome visitor away.
Yes, that might be a good idea.
Bent scurries up and just says, Blackstaff? Blackstaff? Ooh, big magic.
Very big magic.
He looks around and sees Cleo has like come up the stairs and is standing in the doorway. Ooh, big magic?
Big magic, yes. I snap my fingers. I cast
That thing. Yep.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah. And I do a purple fireworks display similar to his.
Cool. Bent like runs over and clutches onto your pant leg and just goes, "You teach me?"
Yes.
I love you.
I love you too. I pick up Bent. It won't look like that.
But with all this, I'll glance over at Dahlia and say, perhaps we should take this downstairs. And kind of direct Cleo and Bent and back down the stairs. And
Bent is super happy to go downstairs with you. Bent not been downstairs yet. Work shift.
No, drop him upstairs. The whole time that Cleo is like present around me, like my shoulders are stiff, my arms are crossed, and if they're not crossed, then my hands are like clutched at my sides. And I also tend to like watch Cleo the way that someone does when you are observing them. So yeah, so I follow everybody downstairs. I know the black staff seems to be trying to exercise some sway over us, but I think that there are other pressing matters in the form of actual people dying right now.
Dead no
And-
good.
No, did no good, Bent.
And I have no intention of ignoring that fact. But
No.
we have some that can pursue that, you amongst them not, Dahlia, that, well, one or two of us goes and seeks out a dragon.
Dragon?
Yes, dragon.
Bent
Oh,
wants see dragon.
No,
Ben, I think you're better served here practicing your pretty fireworks for the opening.
I would agree.
But dragon.
How about this? If I get a chance to see the dragon, or whoever gets a chance to see the dragon, we'll come back and tell you all about them.
Okay. And his like ears kind of like wilt down.
And then you can use that as inspiration for your fireworks for the opening show. And you can be the one to tell everybody that comes about the dragon.
Okay. He starts getting excited. He starts dancing around the room, clapping.
I just smiled at him, pat his head a little bit.
All right, Dan, what I've noticed that Dahlia seems to be a really stiff and kind of uncomfortable at this present second.
I'll let Dahlia answer that.
How subtle would it be?
Dolly's not making any attempt to hide it, and not necessarily like on purpose. Like it's more like when you're like presenting body language and you don't realize it. So yeah, not trying to hide it, but not trying to like intentionally like posture either.
Okay, I'm just gonna walk over close and just kind of in a low voice, "What's up? You seem a little tense."
Kind of shake my head a little bit and take like a half step away.
While they're talking, I'm going to go try to talk to Cleo and pull him away a little bit.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm not following.
The minute this character from the black staff came in, you tensed up. What's going on? Do you know him? Do you know something about him?
When you mentioned that I tensed up, I like drop my arms and kind of like roll my shoulders back, in an attempt to, not be tense. No, everything's fine. I'm just eager to get to the dock ward and see what's going on. Why these people are being killed.
Well, all right, but if there's something that you know, you might want to tell us. It would be kind of nice to not get sideswiped.
No. Six, I don't know them. I don't know anything about them.
Okay.
I promise.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get this thing with the dragon taken care of, and maybe we can get over to the dock ward before the day's out.
All right, let's do it.
So meanwhile, I'd be asking, so what does the black staff know about this beast in the harbor?
That is an excellent question, and not one I have an answer for. Not because she doesn't know anything, but because I don't know what she knows. I was just told that you accepted the job, and the dragon is still in the harbor, and I was told to encourage you to make the dragon not in the harbor.
Well, consider us encouraged. As you notice here, we have had quite a bit to deal with, and we do not mean to be putting off the black staff, but we do have several priorities we are juggling here. I see no reason we can't get on that task relatively soon here. And meanwhile, while you're here, why don't you have a donut and a drink, and we'll get ourselves together here and set out in a little bit.
Oh, sure. I go
What's
over-
Sorrel doing during all of this as people like sort of start having these side conversations?
I think Sorrel is wandering around. We're in kind of the main room of the tavern, right?
Yeah.
Wandering around, like exploring the space, looking out the windows, pondering the mystery of the dirt, one of life's great mysteries. And you hear about the dragon and kind of jump a little bit, but they're going to go over to Thaddeus and Cleo and say, I heard something about donuts, and I also heard something about a dragon. I am not very good at fighting or talking if it's not in Goblin, but if there is something I could do to help, then I would appreciate it if I could help you. Or I can stay here and try to fix your dirt.
Well, our dirt very much does need attention, as you have pointed out to us. You're welcome to donuts. You could learn about making donuts too, if you wish, while you're here. The dragon is very far away. You do not have to worry yourself about it. Yes, we are fine. And then I'll work my way over to Styx and Dahlia and say, I am thinking that our goblin friends may have some insight into information in the dock ward that might otherwise be hard to obtain. Should we set them on a little bit of an investigative trip while we take our own trip down to the harbor?
That sounds like a really good idea, actually.
This sort of thing seems more you guys' speed, so if we want to send the goblins in first, by all means.
And I should point out, just like geographically, that the harbor is in the dock ward, and specifically it's been like sailors, like elven and half elven sailors. So actually, both things are sort of in the vicinity in the harbor or its vicinity.
I keep wondering if they're tied together in some way.
That is what I'm wondering too, Styx. It seems awfully convenient that things are so close together here.
Sorrel?
Having spent some time in the dock ward, would I have heard anything about these murders, the sailors?
I think so.
Anything?
Yeah. So just over the last 3 days, why don't you go ahead and give me let's call it a history check,
Sure.
in terms of like local color, and I'm going to give you
history
advantage on
local
that.
check?
Yeah, like a history local check.
Oh, nice. That is an 18.
Excellent. Okay. So yeah, over the last, I think it's only been sort of the last week or so, there have been a number of elven or half elven, like sailors, drunks, people kind of hanging out around the docks, who have turned up with their heads cut off. And one thing that you, as a unnoticed goblin who, goblins sometimes get to these bodies first and pick things up, have noticed is that whatever blade did it was exceptionally fine, and there were traces of black powder found nearby.
And you said they were beheaded. Did the heads turn up, or did the heads not turn up?
In some cases, the heads were found with them, but there were a few that the heads had apparently disappeared. But who took them, no one's sure.
Interesting. I will, I guess, convey this information to my new friends because I want to be of use to them and thank them for this delicious donut.
As you're eating donuts.
Well, yeah, you'll probably have to teach the goblins some table manners, I guess, along with trade skills.
Yeah.
But so Sorrel swallows the last bit of donut and says, you are investigating in the dock ward?
Why, yes, sir, we are.
Well, I found people. I saw the people with no heads, the people who lacked head. How would be no-headed? The no-headed people.
The very thing we are investigating. See, Sticks, our goblins are already turning up good information. What do you know?
Well, I saw that sometimes they are no-headed and sometimes they are no-headed, but there is a head. And there was something, I smelled something very strange, something dark and black. And what did it smell like, this black powder?
Sort of sulfury, and kind of like dirt, but not good dirt, kind of like rock.
It smelled like bad dirt, but different bad dirt than you have. And all of these people, they were sailors. They did things on the ships in the harbor. And normally people like sailors, even if they make lots of noise. So I don't know why they are turning up no-headed.
I wonder if dragons make for bad dirt.
I mean, at this point, I've walked over as well, keeping my distance from Cleo. But it's.
Cat.
Yeah, I just heard. I don't know if I keep it on the mic, but I just heard something like sounded like crashing. I was like, what? So it might actually. I don't know. They're fine. I'm sure. Yeah. So yeah, I say, it's not a dragon that's known to be aggressive, though. They're from my experiences reading literature and text about dragons, this particular kind is not one that. Yes.
Oh, well, I do know also when they were made no-headed, they were made no-headed with a very sharp blade, a knife or a sword or something. And so I don't think a dragon ate them unless a dragon can use a sword.
They usually can't.
Oh, usually. How many dragons have you met, Cleo?
None.
Oh.
There are many stories about dragons that say they can do many great things, but how many of those are actually true, I'm unsure of. Well,
then I guess a dragon maybe killed them with a sword, but did not bite their heads off to make them no-headed.
This is all super great, Sorrel. Thank you. I hope that under better circumstances, maybe we can share a drink together. I'd love to hear more about your life and your experiences. In the meantime, and I look up at Styx Thaddeus, and I don't look at Cleo. If we're going to go do this, we're losing light. I suggest we leave sooner than later. If you want to send out goblins, I can either accompany them in case they get into a tight spot, or if maybe I can pull out of people responses that they're not able to, or we can all go together. Just let me know.
I still think approaching this from a couple of prongs is probably a good idea.
Yeah, we're spread too thin, especially, without your sister and Bones.
Indeed. I wish she'd stop running off like that.
Well, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get everybody together and head toward the dock ward now. So
Yeah, let's head that way, and we can see what happens, what attracts our attention, you may say.
I look down at Sorrel and I hold a hand out. Before that drink, do you want to go with us?
If you want my help, then I will go with you. I want to fix the dirt here, but I also want to find out what is wrong with the other black dirt. Your dirt is... Anyway, lots of bad dirt in this city, but this city is my home and I want to fix it. And Sorrel takes Dahlia's hand and just beams up at her.
I can't help but smile back. Those are excellent ideas, and I have no doubt that you'll accomplish all those things. Thankfully, there will be plenty of time for it after this.
I'll walk up to Cleo and say, and I suppose you are going to accompany us as well until we resolve the matter to your satisfaction?
Yeah. It's not that we distrust you. It's just that we don't trust you.
Understood completely. Shall
All
we?
right.
Pretty much Norm.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, I think Nox, Sorrel, and possibly a bunch of backup goblins are going to be looking sort of more exclusively for what's happening with the sailors. And Styx, Cleo, and Thaddeus are going to go check out the dragon.
That is the
Excellent.
plan.
Excellent. All right, so fast forward. And we're walking, and we're walking, and we're talking. And you arrive at the dock ward, approaching the harbor. So it's, approaching evening at this point, because, of course, any good adventure on the docks can't be during daylight hours. That would just...
Of course.
The tone is all wrong. It's not thematic. It's a foggy evening. The moon is
Do
out.
we hear wild dogs in the
You
background?
hear wild dogs barking. They're growling and fighting over bones in alleyways. You occasionally have to grab one of the grumble of goblins that is with you as they go to start fighting with stray dogs over juicy looking bones.
No, stop it! Get over here.
But you're making your way down to the harbor front. And at this point, you kind of have your options on who is going to do what. Along the harbor front itself is a large number of bars that cater predominantly to sailors. There are many alleyways, in between them, so there's lots of good places to set up, looking for, people who may be hunting sailors or, looking for sailors themselves. And all you know about the dragon is it's living in the harbor.
How does that relate to the overall enchantment around Waterdeep that there are no dragons here?
Yeah, so...
Is that an exception, or is it just outside?
Yeah, so it seems like the dragon ward that sort of covers the city, the most, or at least a portion of the harbor lies just outside of it. So,
Okay.
as far as you know, actually, Cleo, why don't you go ahead and give me an Arcana check?
Let's see. That's a 7.
All right. So the only thing you can figure, from what the Black Staff has told you is that, the harbor is not protected, exactly if it's, under the water or what, you're not sure. But the harbor must be non-protected because there's a bronze dragon living in there.
So does this mean we need to charter some sort of craft to take us out there?
Well, how could we attract the dragon to come talk to us in the first place? I know nothing. I'm a city kid.
Gold. I bet if you put all of your gold in a boat and pushed it out into the harbor, I bet you would find the dragon.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
Cleo, you actually also just remember, because the DM just remembered, in your satchel, you have a number of potions of water breathing that the Black Staff gave you for just this purpose.
All right. I reach into a little black coin pouch and I produce the 3 potions on there. Or we can use these. These will let us breathe underwater.
So we drink a little bit of your funny liquid here, and we can breathe in that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thaddeus, why don't you try it out?
Where's a goblin when we need one?
Why did I know you were going to say that?
It's like cloudy green, the liquid, and there's like a little bubble in it that almost looks like a jellyfish that's kind of just like pulsing.
Well, wish Doc were here. I'll drink it.
You pop it open and you can just smell like seawater, like brine. And you chug it back and it's very salty, like drinking seawater. And that, jellyfish-shaped bubble almost crawls down your throat and settles in your stomach.
My sticks, that's quite delightful. You've got to try it.
As he starts talking, you can actually see on either side 3 gill slits kind of just appear in his neck and start pulsing.
Okay. You got these weird things on your neck. They're starting to look like a fish.
Feels a bit odd, too. So now you're saying we can breathe in this.
Mhm.
Wonderful. Let's try it out. I'll just go into the water and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you
With my cloak on and everything.
yeah, you sink.
Yep.
You kind of sink down to the bottom after a bit, weighed down by the clothing, and then you're just sitting there, and it feels funny. And although you'd have to actively try breathing as opposed to holding your breath,
Right.
which I imagine is a struggle.
Yeah, I'm not doing that yet.
And then you can just feel the harbor doesn't taste so great, but the water like rushes in and you can feel it sort of filter and bubble out through and you're breathing underwater.
So I'll get back up and just kind of say, well, the crazy one seems to be right.
I usually am.
Oh,
Right.
boy.
I hand a potion to Sticks.
All right. Pop it and kind of wait for a second until I start. Wow, Thaddeus, you're right. This does feel weird. Kind of having a hard time with this.
Well, so now we can breathe water.
Mhm.
All right. So Sorrel and Dahlia. What are you gonna do as you're surveying the docks? What is your plan and your grumble of accompanying goblins? We'll say there's probably about like a half dozen young feisty goblins with you, including Bent, because obviously.
So, if I can paint the picture here real quick.
Yep.
We're
Please
standing
do.
before the docks, surrounded by various establishments of potentially ill repute, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And in the middle of a gathering of about half a dozen plus one goblins, there's a 6 foot tall, very attractive Eladrin elf.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, you got a kindergarten class.
Oh, Lord of mercy. Okay. Yeah, I kind of. If anyone were to walk by, that like there's a look on my face of like just I'm flustered. Like I've never had to deal with this. I've never had to wrangle anyone or anything. You know, normally the people that I want to do what I want to do, that's easy. But I've got goblins. This is a whole other new world for me. And I just look out and I like put my head behind or my hand behind my neck and just kind of like massage at the base of my neck. And you know, one hand on my hip, and I just sigh. Fuck. I don't. Oh God, I don't even know where to start here.
I don't understand all of the words you said. I'm still learning the common.
Oh, really? Okay.
Sometimes I don't understand a word.
What word did you not understand?
You said, "Oh fuck."
Yeah,
What does that mean?
that's a great question. And I can look thoughtful for a moment. So, you met Thaddeus.
Yes. Yes.
So, Thaddeus is a great friend. We've known each other for years. Since we were children. That's a complete lie. And it's a nickname I've given Thaddeus. Fuck. So sometimes if I'm feeling overwhelmed or unsure or not, don't know what my next move should be, I will say his name as a form of comfort. And sometimes I like to say it to him because he understands what it is. So I think the next time you see Thaddeus, if you say that to him, he will be just immediately taken with you more than he certainly is now. Does that help?
You think I should call Thaddeus by this nickname?
Yeah, it's a treasured nickname. I'm giving you permission to do it because I like you so much.
Dan, I'm gonna let you make the call of whether I should roll an insight check.
I think it is totally appropriate for you to roll an insight check.
I'm gonna roll at a disadvantage.
Yeah, that seems, cultural acclamation. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's gonna be a 9 total.
Yeah, and Dahlia is definitely a good liar. I think your passive deception is probably, I'm not sure, but
higher than 9.
Yeah.
A 14.
Yeah.
My passive deception.
Sorrel again looks up at Dahlia and says, "You are all so very nice. If you think I should call Thaddeus by this nickname, then I will try it to learn more words in common and learn more names for my new friends."
I just have this big shit-eating grin on my face too. And I'm like, yes, I would love that if you called Thaddeus by the most cherished nickname I have for him, which is fuck. Sometimes as and this one's a bit of a joke, it's a bit of a rib. Sometimes I even call him fuck face.
Face.
Yes, you add face on the end.
Oh.
Yeah. Because it's his face.
Like when you smash 2 words together to make a new word.
Exactly.
And Sorrel is nodding enthusiastically.
And I imagine Bent is like walking around, like clapping and chanting and just going, fuck, 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 fuck.
I kind of look up towards the sky thoughtfully and realize the power I have right now. uh,
And Sorrel looks around at all the other goblins and says, "We are here to help Miss Dahlia find out what happened to these sailors. So we can ask around and ask people we know here, and maybe we should find out if these sailors all worked on the same." She's speaking, Sorrel, they're speaking in common for Dahlia's benefit, so they're trying to find the word. The same water carriage, water jug, water.
Sorrel, stop. And I'm gonna cast comprehend languages. And it's just like a snap of my fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And I mutter some words. And I say to you, I can't speak Goblin, but I can understand what you're saying, so you don't have to try to manage your speech on my behalf.
Oh, that's some cool magic. That is magic.
Mm-hmm.
So Sorrel says then, well, I think everybody should go talk to people they know and talk to their friends and ask around discreetly and try to find if any of these sailors worked on the same ships or if they were sailors who were looking for a job, and figure out what they had in common. And then maybe we can go from there. And gathering more information is always good, right, Miss Dahlia?
Yes. You clearly know a lot more about this than I do, so...
Bent pipes up and he just says, yeah, I think we should, we could do an alley by alley grid search. We could pair up, search through, maybe peek in some of these windows. We could talk to some of the sailors, but, they're not going to talk much to us. But, we're pretty sneaky.
How
Sailors
about...
talk to Dahlia?
Yes, thank you, Sorrel. So maybe that's a great idea. What if you guys find anyone or find any place, I can go in and start asking around. You can be a lot more inconspicuous than I can, so.
Perfect. I like the way you speak. I mean, well, not the way you speak, because you're still speaking that common tongue, and it's just awful.
It has no nuance.
It's completely lacking in nuance. I mean, they don't even get the concept properly of how to make new words out of multiple words. And
to be fair,
it's so simple.
Common's not my native language either, but I don't think you know Sylvan.
Bent actually then switches to Sylvan and goes, I beg to differ.
And I like a little taken aback, and so I start speaking to him in Sylvan, which I think maybe sounds like tinkling bells or something.
Like a bird song.
Yeah, it's really melodic.
Yeah, the ruffling of wind through forest trees.
Yeah.
And then Ben switches back to Goblin and he goes, it's rude, though, to converse in languages that other people don't understand in front of them. I don't know if that's a matter of etiquette among your people, but among my people,
it is
strictly
absolutely
held.
A matter of etiquette. Yes, I agree. You're very polite.
Excellent. All right, so you guys are going to start searching the docks, and Dahlia doing the front man talking.
Yeah, like the face of the gobs.
Excellent.
I just see sitting in the street here this massive goblins around this very tall elf, and they're talking and huddled, and then all the goblins just split.
Yeah, I can imagine they just explode. Fly, my pretties, fly.
Enjoy the goblins.
Yeah, and the grumble of goblins just like disappears among the alleys and starts searching.
I find a crate to sit on and look cool.
All right. So in the harbor, so you know that probably sort of out the deepest part of the harbor. So as you make your way swimming, water breathing out among passing underneath underneath the ships, why don't you guys all, or you folks all, go ahead and give me perception checks. So Thaddeus, Styx, and Cleo.
It's a 9 from me.
Okay.
Well, I don't think I'm going to see anything.
16 for me.
Okay.
A 7.
Okay. So as you're swimming out, there's like 3 ships that are docked out in the harbor, as opposed to tied up. There's probably more than 3, but there's a group of 3 that you have to swim by. And so you see 2 things as you come out into the harbor. One is sort of down and to your left, Cleo. You can see that there is an old shipwreck at the bottom of the harbor, quite encrusted with barnacles. And you see a flash of, reflected, filtered moonlight off of bronze scales in this part of the harbor. You also see in the middle boat, or middle ship rather, a sailor would wrap my knuckles for calling it a boat.
Yes.
Underneath the middle ship of that 3 pair, you see a weird sphere underneath, like docked underneath it, like a spherical little ship of some kind or something attached to the bottom of the sailing ship.
Do I specifically know what that means or no?
Why don't you go ahead and give me, I'm going to say, an Arcana check for this.
All right. That's a 20. Dirty 20.
It is a most unusual sight because that is a gnomish, a Lanthanese submarine.
Well, I don't really know if I can talk while underwater. I know I can breathe, so I'm just going to attempt to lead the others towards the shipwreck, towards
Okay.
the dragon. And I'm going to use dancing lights, the racial cantrip, to just kind of lead them along. And just kind of
Okay, yeah.
bring these 4 little balls of light with me to get them where we need to go.
All right, so they're swirling around in the water. And actually, so as you cast that and the lights start swirling around in the water and you start swimming to the shipwreck, you then see the ripple of scales kind of reappear and the sinuous shape actually starts swimming towards you.
Mm.
There goes the element of surprise. Yeah,
Wow.
I just keep going. I have no fear.
And, pretty quickly then approaching you, I sort of imagine it's doing that like lizard waggle through the water, long tail with, sort of a raised, not really a fin, but it makes it kind of paddle-like at the end, to help propel it through the water. Wings folded kind of tightly along its back, doing like that like iguana swim with its like legs tucked back and wiggling through. As it swims sort of up towards you, and then to stop, it kind of swings around and like unfurls its wings a little bit to like catch the water, and then just is moving them gently up and down, so it's like treading water underwater in front of you. And it is indeed a bronze dragon. It's large, but it's not huge as far as dragons go. And it just kind of peers at you quizzically and says, "Ah, young mage, I am Zelopharn. Pleased to meet you. Tell me, do you happen to have any treasure on hand?"
I give him my entire coin purse. I just like take it off my belt, just like toss it up to him.
And he tosses it and he starts rifling through and he goes, "Thin pickings, but it'll do." And he sort of like secretes it away somewhere, you're not sure. And then sort of both clawed hands come out and he sort of looks at the rest of you. You don't look so rich," as he's talking to Styx. And then he swivels around to look at Thaddeus and looks him up and down. I smell noble blood. You must have some treasure.
Taking Cleo's lead, I take my coin purse, and I also have a little bit of jewelry on me. Not
Mm-hmm.
other than the signet ring, but and I take that together and just hand it up.
And he sort of gathers it all up. Ah, and is there any more? I hunger to grow my hoard.
I'll try speaking to him. I'll say, not at the moment, but more can be provided.
Ah, yes, well, that would be appreciated. I'm just setting up shop, and starting out fresh.
Understood?
And I do so like, and he sort of picks up the piece of jewelry. And I imagine he takes like a bracelet and like puts it around like a clawed finger.
Right. Yeah.
It is so pretty.
More of that can definitely be obtained.
Ah, well then, my new friends, tell me, what can Zelapharn do for you?
Well, we were just wondering what a fine specimen like yourself would be doing in the depths of our harbor here.
Ah, well, you see, the Dragon War doesn't extend here to the depths of the harbor, so it made it a rather convenient place to set up shop.
That makes sense.
I figure lots of boat traffic, sailors, always things, falling off the back of a ship that one can acquire.
Indeed. That would make a certain amount of sense.
I'm going to kind of butt in here too for a second. Dragon, you do realize that the Black Staff has actually sent us out here to talk to you.
Ah, the Black Staff, you say, and he sort of just cocks an eyebrow at you and says, I would ask, my name is Zelapharn. I prefer to be referred to that than just called Dragon. Would you like it if I just called you Hey Human?
I've been called worse.
I suppose. Fair point. I expected, and he sort of swivels his attention back to Cleo. Young mage here must represent the Black Staff. Is that true?
Oh, yes.
Yes, and she is concerned about what my intentions may be. Well, you can tell her I wish no harm upon the fine city of Waterdeep. I am content to stay here in the harbor, and perhaps I could even occasionally be of service to young Vajra.
I was actually just wondering if we were to provide you more shinies here. Would you maybe be able to provide us with something of value to us?
A little quid pro quo, you propose?
Precisely.
Well, that only depends on what you ask of me and how much treasure you can provide me with. I am amenable to a fair exchange.
I think all we'd be asking for is some information on interesting happenings that are outside the norm that you might notice.
Information. A fine currency I would happily trade for coin.
I look over at Styx and I think we can help each other here then.
Cat.
Well, if it satisfies what we have to do for the Black Staff, I am all for this.
Excellent. As I said, I have no problems and intend to cause no trouble with the Black Staff. Please, convey my best wishes, young mage.
May I ask while we're here though, why in particular did you choose here of all the possible coastline?
Well, I think the proximity to the Dragon Ward somewhat reduces competition.
I like the way you think, Zolifar. Very
Excellent.
intelligent.
Excellent. Tell me, young mage, how did you come to enter the Blackstaff's employ? It is not often that one meets, and no offense intended, a drow on the surface working for the Grey Hands. Most unusual, and I must say intriguing.
I used to live underground, like most drow, and it was not a hospitable environment. And so I, with the help of some friends, was able to leave Menzo Baranzan, make my way up to the surface. And with the little magic I knew, I was able to find work under the Blackstaff, and now I learn and work for her.
Interesting. I suspect that there is a fascinating story there. Perhaps someday you should speak with Volo or this fellow I hear about occasionally, Ed Greenwood.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Back on the docks. Sorrel, what are you
Yes.
doing as you're investigating the alleys and the goings on?
Let's see. I want to figure out kind of when and where the last murder occurred. Can I find? I'd like to find some rats.
Excellent. You absolutely can find rats. There is a ton of
Mix it
rats
up
running
for it.
around the docks. Yep.
I would like to find a rat and oh wait, I can cast animal friendship on it. Well, I'm gonna cast animal friendship on it, and then I think I can cast speak with animals as a ritual.
Okay, that sounds good.
And so I want to ask this rat if it or any of its friends know where the last salty dead body was.
So the rat sort of is, I imagine, like perched up on your palm, like sitting on its hind
Yeah.
legs.
Sorrel's
Yeah, its
talking
hand.
to this rat.
Yeah, whiskers twitching, and it just sort of chitters, and it nods, and sort of then like beckons you with a little paw, and like hops down and like scurries around through the alleys, and takes you to one of the alleys where the last body was found, which is in between basically two taverns out on the docks.
Okay, I'm gonna make an investigation check to look around the area and see if I can find any traces of that black powder and look at it some more.
Absolutely.
That's a 4.
So you're
I
searching
get
around.
distracted by some leaves.
Yeah, there's a cold winter wind sort of blows through one of the alleys and swirls some of the fallen autumn leaves up around you. And so you're kind of searching all around when you so focused on looking that you're totally distracted when someone sort of quietly singing to themselves trips over you. So you're like on all fours, searching around, and this, individual kind of strides forward, doesn't see you, leg collides with you, like you're the coffee table and they're drunkenly coming home. Yeah. And so and they go just over top of one another. And, then sort of like pick themselves up and sort of drunkenly, they're sort of swaying there, and they just go, I could have swore there was no trash cans in this alley.
I'm sorry.
Who were... Oh, hi there, little, goblin.
That is me.
Hiccups.
I am sorry. I did not mean to trip you. I was very distracted.
It's okay. It's probably all the ale I had. And sort of the hood falls back, and you can actually see it's a half elf, and it clad, sort of breeches and tunic and bundled up, and it is indeed a sailor. And he just says, I was just gonna go this way back to my... Hold it 1 minute. Back to where I'm staying for the night.
Well, sir, did you know that sailors are being beheaded around here? You might be in danger.
Deheaded, you say? His hand sort of starts patting around. He goes, hey, where'd my knife go? I must have left it behind. Need it for protection. I'll let no one dehead me. I like my head just where it is. Thank you very much.
Right. Perhaps I could walk with you back to your... I know I am very small and I am a goblin, but folks don't see notice of us. So perhaps I could help make sure that no one comes up on you, since you appear to be a little bit wet, doused, drinked up.
You mean drunk?
Yes, drunk.
4 sheets to the wind.
4 sheets. What is the difference between 4 sheets in the wind and 3 sheets in the wind?
4's bigger than 3.
You must be much drunk then.
Indeed I am. I just got paid, and it's almost all gone.
Well, where are you walking? Perhaps we could walk there?
Sure, just down this alley.
I'm gonna ask my rat friend to go find Dahlia.
What's you talking to the rat for? Does it got anything intelligent to say?
Well, it told me where someone met with a less fortunate end, but it's going to find my friend now so that we can make sure no one deheads you.
That's some trick. So the rat scurries away, and Dahlia, this rat, sort of comes up and then starts chittering as it crawls up your leg and crawls up onto your shoulder.
I kick it off.
I didn't think about that part.
I'm
And it
Normal
keeps-
reaction.
It sort of then plops down in front of you and sort of stands up on its back legs and starts waving its paws around and just pointing.
Oh, gee, what the hell? Okay. I stand up. I hope this doesn't get me killed. Okay. Yeah, okay. Lead the way?
The rat sort of bows to you, scurries away to lead you through some alleys. And by the time you get there, you start accumulating some of the grumble with you as you go. They just sort of start converging
I'm like,
until you're stalking through the streets with this posse of goblins in behind you.
oh my god.
And so you round a corner and you can see Sorrel who is talking with, a very drunken, tipsy sailor. And it's unmistakable, as you approach this half elf, you can see the points of his ears. As you see that, you also see, tucked away in the alley in like a little alcove, a shape just sort of shifts, like a shadowy humanoid shape that you can see shift in like a hiding spot. We'll cut back to underneath the harbor.
You son of a bitch.
Leave them wanting more. And so for you guys, Zalafar has basically, extorted you and indicated that he's no threat.
Well, I believe our work here is done, and I look at Cleo.
I hope this satisfies her, honestly. So,
I mean, I'm not really the one that needs to be satisfied. Ultimately, it is Miss Blackstaff. But it seems good enough. I called back to the dragon as I assume we're walking to the
swimming away.
Yeah. If you double cross us, we know where you live. I think it worked out as as well as we could expect. We have a new friend now. That's always nice.
I believe the Black Staff only asked us to find out why the dragon was here. We know that now.
Mm-hmm.
We know the dragon does not appear to want to cause trouble.
Still a dragon.
Aye, Sticks, don't you take anybody at their word.
I've lived long enough to understand that's not going to happen. So.
Well said, brother. Anyway, shall we go?
Let's go back.
Yeah, so I think you guys, exit and you're dripping wet in the cold autumn air, nighttime air, standing on the docks. People are looking at you kind of funny as you come out. But you do catch a glimpse of Dahlia like cutting across an alley, sort of parallel to you and perpendicular to this alley you can see down, as like just a convergence of the grumble of goblins like trailing her.
Well, what's that dang fool elf gotten herself into now?
Oh, Lord.
Let's go find out. I just march right on over there, and I use prestidigitation to dry myself as I do.
Can you do that to us too?
I could.
Point taken.
I'm going to need some dry clothes soon because I am soaked.
Yeah, I imagine my clothes are really heavy with being waterlogged and very cold.
All right, so as you start
Maybe
following,
not that cold. It's probably silks and stuff. So
yeah,
it was
a little bit better than cotton.
Which
It's probably a wool cloak, and wool's okay.
Wool's okay too.
Yeah. So you're starting to follow the grumble as it grumbles along. And so Dahlia, you can just see this shadow sort of twitch a little bit in this like alcove, and then clearly you get the impression that it is about to step out into the alley. You have a split second.
I am gonna cast Friends at it.
Okay.
Ooh.
Very clever.
I don't know who it is or what it is, but anyone skulking around in the alley, I want an advantage.
Yeah.
On.
And your yes.
So I just make like a gesture, like discreetly with my hands as I'm moving towards the drunk elf guy and Sorel. And as like in the middle of like doing that, I like immediately scoop the drunk guy, like up around, like scoop my hands or my arm rather, like up under him to like help support him.
Right. Okay. And what's your spell save DC?
What is it? Where is it at? Oh, why can't I find it? Right when I need it. Oh, there it is. 13. Ugh.
Okay. And so you're casting it on the figure in the alcove.
Shadows. Yeah.
Okay. So you start to cast that, and you can sort of tell as it doesn't take hold, and as you step up to put your arm around Mr. Drunky McDrunkface, you kind of have to step by the alcove a little bit, and this cloaked and hooded figure steps out, pulls a rapier in one move, and is thrusting towards the sailor. And I need everyone to roll initiative.
Son of a bitch.
Mm.
Ooh.
Hey!
Right.
Definitely not a typical roll for me.
All right. Let's start. Dahlia.
21.
21. Excellent.
Speedy.
Mhm.
Sorrel.
19.
Oh yeah.
Excellent. All right. Thaddeus.
23.
Holy crap.
Mhm.
Cleo.
14.
14. And Styx.
I got a 19. I'm up there with Sorrel.
So
Okay.
fast.
We don't know what this dude's and this
Don't worry, this is not normal.
assailants.
I know, you never roll this good. Consistently. Okay, so actually Thaddeus is going to be the first person to go. So you're a couple of steps in behind Dahlia, but you would see this shadowy shape kind of lunge out and sort of draw a thin, elegant blade.
I see him draw something, throwing one of my darts. I assume I don't have my bow with me underwater.
Probably not. That'd be bad for the
Yeah.
bowstring.
Yep.
All right, go
Yeah,
ahead.
so throw a dart at him.
I'm going to give you advantage because you're in behind him and he's totally distracted.
That's a 24.
So you hit.
And 6 points damage.
Okay. All right. All right. So yeah, your dart sort of thuds into the back shoulder as he's like lunging out with it, and there's a bit of a muffled curse. And Dahlia is the next to go.
I'm reading a spell description. Okay, I don't think I'll do that. Okay, so as I see this person lunge out, I'm gonna let go of Drunky McDrunkface and call out to the rest of the group that I can see, coming to join us. Don't kill him. Don't kill them. Whatever. And I am going to cast Dissonant Whispers, which is a Wisdom save, 13.
Okay. He passes.
Of course he does. Piece of shit. I didn't roll super great either. Let's see. If he succeeds, he just takes half damage.
Okay.
They take half damage, so that's a total of 5. So it would be 3 points of damage.
Okay.
Right? Is that right?
Yep. That sounds right.
And yeah, you all see as like my eyes like flash this like glowing color, and I'm like muttering, like my mouth's moving as if I'm muttering words, but no one can hear anything but this guy.
Okay. So yes, he as you cast that, you hear this like hissed intake a little bit, And so as he's like kind of lunging out, but then you cast that, he pivots around and takes, a half step. So he changes his attack and swings it at you. And he hisses out and he's like, that damned magic. And the hood falls away and you can actually see that it is a drow male.
Oh, fuck me.
And the first attack with his blade is a 25 to hit for 7 points of slashing damage.
Attacking?
Dahlia.
Oh shit! Yeah, that definitely hits. Holy crap!
Yeah.
7 points. You said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And he follows it up with a second, but I believe it'll miss because that's an 11.
Yes, just barely.
Okay.
I think you all see like the look of shock on my face, and like I just barely stumble away from that second hit. That second strike.
And then he sees you sort of more clearly as he's focused, and this just rictus of a, grin sort of creeps across his face, and he says, "Ooh, if there's one thing I hate more than surface elves, it's you goddamn Eladrin." And it is Sorrel's turn.
Sorrel glares at the drow as much as they can, being like less than half as tall, and says, "Don't hurt Miss Dahlia," and pulls out of their pocket a pair of pruning shears and is going to try to stab the drow with the pruning shears.
All right. And you're also totally in behind him. I don't necessarily play with flanking rules, but since totally in behind him, I'm giving you advantage on that attack roll.
Cool. That's a 23 to hit.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey.
So Sorrel just stabs them as high as they can reach, which is the kidneys. And that'll be, I'm going to use Fury of the Small, so that'll be 7 damage.
Woo.
Excellent. All right. So the pruning shears sort of like double pierce in as you like jam them up into his kidneys. He sort of arches his back and swats at it as he yells in some intensity. Okay, it is Styx's turn.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and use both my sticks, and I'm going to go for something non-lethal, but I'm going to try to knock him down. But
okay,
and I'm going to. All right, so we're still using the new rule for dual wielding, right?
Yes.
Okay. Woo! I like this one. How about a 21?
21 hits, absolutely. Yeah, we're letting Styx test drive Mike Merle's test drive of dual wielding.
All right, 3. All right, 9 points of damage.
Okay. All right, excellent. So you come in and thwack with your 2 sticks in quick succession, sort of driving him back half a step. He half stumbles over Sorrel because Sorrel's kind of right in behind him, gets tangled up with her as she kind of comes up to about a little over his knees basically.
Yeah.
And stumbles by, and it is Cleo.
All right. How far away am I from him?
You're within range of doing probably pretty much anything you could want to do.
Could I finagle myself to catch him in a 15-foot cone and nobody else?
I think so, yeah, because it's a tight alley. So if you got sort of beside him, there's people on either side, tight enough, you could get him sort of right up in.
Okay, then I run up, sort of get myself into position. I bring my hand up to my face. I blow him a kiss and cast Burning Hands on him. So
Excellent. I love it.
DC 13 dex save as I attempt to incinerate him.
So he does pass as he sort of, kind of like ducks underneath.
Mm-hmm. I can grab my D8 out of this box. There we go. 3. It's 3 damage total. 6, and he saves for half.
All right. Yeah. So how much was that again? Sorry.
3. I rolled 6, and he
Okay.
saves for half.
All right. All right. So he sort of ducks under that and hisses about, infernal magic is for weaklings. And then the grumble of goblins swarms by
God.
everybody and like starts dogpiling on top of him. Ooh. And that's a couple nat 20s as they basically,
Wow.
like pull out these sharp little sticks and start stabbing at him, sort of swarmed by all of these goblins. And he
And still
actually
all shouts in Goblin, "Don't kill him, we need the information."
This
Okay.
would be frenzy of the small now.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
basically this frenzy of starling goblins like stabbing at him. And we're back around to Thaddeus.
Hearing Dahlia's request, I'm just going to go up and try to choke him. Just
Yeah, absolutely. So go ahead and give me a athletics check.
that's a 13.
Okay. Yeah, so let's see. And so he does sort of manage to get his hands up and kind of like block it a little bit.
Okay. So I'm just kind of struggling with him.
Yeah. So yes, so were we on Thaddeus? I think we were on Thaddeus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I was attempting.
Oh, right,
feebly
attempting to choke, yeah. And he's like struggling. I sort of batted your hands away.
He's probably not struggling very hard. I'm just not very good at this.
And like the grumble of goblins have like half fallen off. He looks like he's actually about to try and escape. And it is Dahlia's turn.
Oh god, I'm trying to decide what to do. Crap. I think that my eyes narrow and like with a growl in my tone,
Mm-hmm.
I say in response to this person, "You're a disgrace to drought everywhere." And I'm gonna use Earth Trimmer, I think.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know why. I don't know why I'm rolling. They have to roll. Derp.
They have to roll. Yep.
Yeah,
Dex save, I'm
it's a
guessing.
dex save. Yeah, 13. I don't have a lot of-
They fail.
Yes. Um,
And how big of an area does that affect? Is it just like
It's
5 feet
10
or?
It's 10 feet.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that
So who else is caught up in this? if
pretty much
anyone?
everybody, like everyone's kind of
Mhm.
dogpiled around him.
Okay.
So everyone go ahead and make some dex saves.
Oh Lord. Let's see.
13.
I failed. I got a 6.
9.
Good. 15.
I got an 11.
Okay.
So Sorrel's the only one that saves.
Yeah.
Yep. So ring around the posies. We all fall down except for Sorrel.
Yeah, so,
who-
so everyone falls prone. And so everyone that failed, you all fall prone, and you take 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yay.
So after I say this, I like bring my fist down and I punch the floor of the alleyway, and just from out of that, just all of the like the brick and stone that makes up this walkway just comes jutting out, and
I'm just hanging off of Dahlia's belt loops.
Yeah.
I love it.
and I'm trying to hold on to Sorrel, and like after that happens, like I'm like panting and I like mutter out, "I'm sorry." I think that's it. So yeah. say nothing happens to Sorrel, actually.
Okay.
No
So
damage on save.
yeah, no damage, nothing. So the ground is considered difficult terrain.
Okay. Excellent. And he's covered in like some of the, grumble are on top of him. Still like,
It's the rumble in the grumble.
it's the rumble in the grumble.
The grumble that rumbles.
Yes. All right, so it is his turn. He basically extricates himself from the grumble and stands up, and that's about all he can do. So he uses his action to sort of, push off goblins and like stand up. And so then it is Sorrel's turn, and it is just Sorrel and this drow who's now glowering around at everyone who is on the ground prone in front of him.
And Dahlia got stabbed, right?
Yes.
So yeah, while I'm hanging off of, I let myself down and pat Dahlia's thigh and say, I make better. And I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds. That will be 9 points of healing to you.
Awesome. Yeah, as you do that, I whisper out a thank you.
Perfect. So this like nice natural healing magic, all organic, pesticide free, sweeps through you.
Hormone free.
USDA approved.
Grade A, AAA grade.
Cage free.
Sunshine and twilight.
Yeah. All right, it is Styx's turn.
Well, I guess I'm going to try to get up off the ground.
Yeah, you can do that easily enough.
All right. Well, that should take care of that one action I got pretty much. So
no, that just impacts your movement. He was buried under like goblins, so he had to like push them off and stuff.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and try to attack him again and see if I can incapacitate him. Oh, there we go. We're back to normal now. How about a 10?
No. Yeah, you kind of like swing one of the sticks in, and he like catches it in a free hand, his buckler kind of hanging off, and like shoves it back. I don't think so. Cleo.
I'm going to stand up for one. And I'm actually going to back off a bit, and I'm going to hold a grease spell in case he tries to run.
Nice.
Perfect. Okay, I like it. So yeah, you start to go through the casting and hold it, the arcane energy holding there for the moment. It is then the grumbles go. Oh wow. The grumble as a horde is rolling pretty good tonight. As they sort of like dogpile back on him and start stabbing him. And so he's got like all these little cuts that he's bleeding from all the goblin noise. Oh. Sorry, Root. One of our missing player, Doc, Root Block, got timed out a little bit by the overzealous Nightbot for spamming. Which he wasn't. I'm sorry. Nightbot's a little overzealous. All right. So the goblins, and so we're back around to Thaddeus.
I'm just going to punch him.
Okay.
Oh, that's actually 19.
Yeah, that you punch him square in the face.
Yep. And is that just strength modifier?
Yeah, 1 plus your strength modifier. Yep.
Which is 0, so 1.
Oh. Yeah, you split his lip a little bit. He licks it. Dahlia.
Good Lord, I'm still recovering from that. I am. Oh, that's right. I have to remember I can do bardic inspiration. I'm gonna stand up and place a hand on Sorel's head and say, "You're a good goblin. Thank you for finding us." And give you a d6 for inspiration die. I gotta come up with better things to say than that, but whatever. So you get a d6 to add for the next 10 minutes. Just one.
Yay, thank you.
You can use it. You can use it after seeing the roll, but before knowing the outcome. Okay, and I'm going to brandish my dagger, and I'm just gonna lunge at the guy. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Oh, son of a bitch. Okay, that's a natural one.
All right.
Ooh.
I'm going to give Dahlia my inspiration.
Excellent.
Can you do that?
Yeah,
Sure. Absolutely.
Don't.
not bardic inspiration. My
The-
regular.
her regular point of inspiration that she had.
Okay. So I can roll again then? Cool.
Absolutely. I love
Say,
it.
go Miss Dahlia!
I like that look.
Oh no.
Twice in a row. Wow.
Wow.
I'm glad you're not doing death saves right now.
Yeah, I think I make like the first lunge, and Sorel like chimes in with the words of encouragement, and I'm just like there's like fury and rage in my eyes, and I think like that's like my hand like shakes as I'm like
Yeah.
trying to make these stabs.
And sort of as you stab forward, because on natural ones and sometimes on 20s, I like to borrow something from Cypher and intrude. So as you stab forward, shimmering into existence, just in front of your dagger, appears one of these grapefruit-sized floating fanged eyeballs with, eye stalks that you have seen several times throughout the city, as it kind of like statics into existence just in time for your dagger to plunge into its eye. And it screams sort of horribly and fires off just like a sequence of like little flashes of almost like lasers, like beams from its eyes, and then twitches again and disappears, taking your dagger with it.
Motherfucker.
Oh,
That's the second time I've lost a dagger. This time it wasn't even on purpose.
All right. So indeed, the drow sort of snarls and goes to like kind of flee, like push past you and get down the alley. So we've got a couple of things that are going to trigger, and we're going to start with Cleo's held spell.
Yep, it's a grease, so deck save 13.
Okay. And so it does pass. So like your grease kind of appears, and he like whoop down, but sort of like skids past it a little bit.
I think there's still difficult terrain.
Yeah,
from
it's still
Dahlia's
difficult
spell.
terrain.
And there's still difficult terrain, so he hasn't moved very far. So he's not making a lot of progress. But also, pretty much everybody is going to get a opportunity attack as well. So let's start with Sorrel, because I love that goblin chuckle.
I'm going to use that bardic inspiration.
Excellent.
That's a total of 11, though, so probably not.
No, so you like slash out with the pruning shears, but there's just not enough reach with your little goblin arms. Thaddeus.
I'm going to, if he's running off, can I throw a dart at him as he's running with sharpshooter?
Yeah, sure.
I'll do that. And that's a nat one.
Oh, no.
All right. So you throw the dart, but his pinwheeling arm sort of catches yours as you go to throw it, and the dart ricochets out into the street
Oh no.
and you hear a yelp from out in the street. We'll see what that led to. Sticks.
All right, I'm going to try to tackle him.
Okay.
No, I don't think I will.
What was your total?
9.
No. You kind of dive to like shoulder tackle him, and he's like slip sliding around, but manages to just scoot out of your reach. Your fingers just rippling along his coat.
Lord.
Dahlia, your attack of opportunity.
I think I curse under my breath in Sylvan, and I take out the other dagger that I have, which I had previously retrieved from the eye of one of these bastards. And I go to lunge forward again as he is making off, but he steps just outside of my reach. I do not hit him.
Okay. All right. And finally, Cleo, you also have a opportunity.
I rolled a3.
Okay.
So yeah, I did not hit him.
Yeah, so he hasn't made it very far because it's difficult terrain, but he's made it sort of outside of where all of you are and is like starting to flee down the alley. But then it is Sorrel's actual turn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I have this big backpack, kind of leather backpack on my back that has all of my gardening tools in it. So I am going to run after him, and I pull out a goblin-sized, but a wooden rake.
Excellent.
And I'll go ahead and cast Shillelagh on it, so it kind of like starts to grow wooden thorns at each
Wow.
of the like along
Yeah.
the of it. Hello. My cat's very concerned about this. And I'm going to try to whack at the back of his knees with this rake.
Excellent.
So let's see. 14. Does a 14 hit?
It does not, unfortunately. It swings and just like clips along his heel. All right, Sticks.
All right, I'm going to go ahead. Well, I'm going to try to tackle him again.
Okay.
If I can get a hold of him. A nat 1.
All right.
I'm back to normal.
5 nat ones in 2 minutes.
So you dive to tackle him, and your feet go out from underneath you because of the remnants of like grease and stuff on the cobblestones, and you come down like flat on your chin, cracks off of the cobbles, and you are prone on the ground.
And you hear me yell, it probably extremely loud, motherfucker.
Sorrel maybe gets confused about this.
Yeah, I that's a nickname for Dahlia. Hey, you're calling out for help.
What about the mother of Thaddeus? Cleo.
Is there any like loose objects around? Like, what's the environment like?
Oh, 100%. It's like a trash-filled alley.
Then I will look for the biggest, nastiest piece of trash. I will point at the guy and yell "yeet," and I'm gonna cast catapult.
Excellent.
It's a DC 13 dex save.
And he fails.
Yes. All right, that's 38.
Yeah. We've determined in my home game that this spell is more appropriately the arcane, now I'm brain farting, railgun.
Yeah.
And it's going to be 19 points of damage.
Oh! Okay. So you do that as with a yeet. What is the nastiest piece of trash you want to throw in this alley?
I mean, I imagine it's probably like
Rotten ham.
Yeah, like probably like old food stuffs, like an old piece of meat with like the bone still attached, and it's just got like maggoty, like it's got bugs on it, maybe rat droppings, like it's old food
Sweet.
for sure.
Yeah. And of like a rather big ham, so like, you know, the ball joint is pretty hefty as this rockets up and cracks him into the back of the head, and he goes down face first into the alley and sort of like slides along the grease and then comes to a rest, like as his head sort of bumps up against the brick wall of the alley, and the grumble just like pounces on him and start like not stabbing at him, but they're like hitting him with their little
Yeah.
fists. And he appears at the very least to be unconscious.
All right.
Impressive.
As you guys approach him, Cleo, he actually looks familiar.
Uh-oh.
How familiar? Where exactly do I know this person from?
So you know that his name is Solon Zimbrandas, and he is a very loyal member of the Brigandarth.
Okay, so I'm gonna sort of jog my way up there as best I can ahead of the group, but not like suspiciously ahead of them. I'll just be like, Solon, 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 what are you doing? And he's unconscious, so
And he is unconscious, yeah.
I am not a healer, so I'm just gonna, I guess, try and stabilize him.
Yeah, and you know, you can sort of futz around with him. He's not like actively bleeding out. He's sort of just unconscious, and and he is stable.
The goblins just knocked him out with 1,000 tiny fists.
Yes, yeah.
1,000 tiny fists called out at once.
And they said, "Not this day."
They said,
Not this day!
Yes, not this day.
You don't have the nuance.
All right.
I am not approaching with the rest of the group. I'm just hanging out in the back, like hands on my knees, panting heavily. Kind of waiting
Are you okay, Miss Dahlia?
And I should mention, by the way, Sorrel, in case I didn't make this clear for anyone watching or playing, that Dahlia's summer form is male.
Oh, sorry, I forgot that.
No, it's fine. Like, Dahlia's not going to second guess it if you call them she or her or they. It's all gravy because it's all accurate to different extents. But Dahlia says in response, I'm fine. Just, you did great. Just go make sure no one kills him. See what you can find out.
All right.
Sorrel nods and takes up a position with this pointy, thorn-covered rake pointed at the... Yeah.
All right. So do you folks intend to try and question him here? Are you going to try and restrain him and take him back to the tavern? What do you guys want to do, sort of big picture wise?
I say we restrain him and take him back.
Seems to me that would be the wisest course of action.
It's hard to question somebody out in the middle of the street where we can be interrupted by the city watch.
This is the dock ward. The city watch doesn't usually spend much time down here.
True.
Also true.
But all it takes just one random one, and then we're in front of the magistrate.
And what does Cleo think?
Oh, man. I'm just going to turn to Thaddeus and Styx because they're the leaders here. I'm just going to look, I know you have some discussion to do, but when you're done with him, don't kill him. Let me come back. Let me get him. I know who he works for, and he's a good person. So I will take care of this as soon as you complete what you need to complete.
Well, that is mighty interesting.
It is.
As you two are deliberating on this, I stand up fully, sheath the dagger, look over at Cleo, and I say, "You, Cleo, follow me." And I'm gonna head out of the alley and wait for Cleo to follow.
Yeah, I'll follow, I guess.
And I'm just gonna take you around the corner, just out of earshot of everybody else. And I have my I have my arms kind of crossed in front of my chest, and I'm avoiding eye contact with you. Do you know? Have you heard anything or know another drow by the name of Yazdeen?
Do I?
So Cleo, you do, but you know that the name Yazdeen is not that person's I want to say real name, but you know what I mean? Like, you know them primarily by another name, but you know that Yazdeen is a name that they also sometimes use. You know Yazdeen as Felricht Lafine.
Yes, I do know. Yes, not personally, by association, by comprehension. But I have heard that name.
Oh, can't hear you, Dahlia. You're muted.
I look at you and just stare at you for a second. I'm sorry, what?
I know that person. Not personally, but I've heard the name, and I know people who know that person.
Are you fucking with me right now?
Roll insight. I just look bewildered. I'm like,
And I look
No.
angry. Like at this point, like I'm doing the thing where you clench your jaw and like that
mhm.
vein, you know, flexes or whatever in the side of your neck.
Mhm.
You said their name is what?
Justine, that's the name you used.
No.
I didn't mention any other names.
Oh, you didn't.
I
That's
just
right.
said I
Okay,
just
sorry.
know that person. I knew
Okay,
Justine.
sorry. I thought you had said it. Derp, never mind.
Yeah.
That's
That's
me
okay.
freaking out right now.
Mm.
What? When did you last see them?
I've never met them in person. I've heard the name.
How,
The surface drow community is small, as you might imagine. When most people meet drow, they act like you do.
don't fucking presume to pretend like you know why I'm acting the way that I am.
Oh, well, you act just like everyone else does, so.
I don't give a fuck about anybody else. I asked you about one drow. So let's keep the discussion on topic. What else do you know about them?
Nothing. I've heard the name. I know he spends time in Waterdeep.
Yeah, well, you're a wealth of information. If you see this person, if you hear anything else about them, please come find me.
only if you don't kill. I indicate.
I have-
Soren was his name.
Solon.
Solon. I indicate Solon. Only if you don't kill him.
I have no intention to kill him at all.
All right. You question him. You give him back to me when you're done, and I encounter Yazdine, or I have information. We will trade that.
I just nod slowly. Take like a deep breath. Okay. And I just walk past you without saying anything else back to the rest of the group.
And I walk away. All right. So is the general consensus you'll take Solon back to the tavern?
Yeah, I think I'd ask the goblins if they knew of a way to get him back without being seen on the streets.
The grumble appears very excited by this prospect.
We might want to specify all parts attached.
And
Yeah.
alive.
So Sorrel, why don't you go ahead and give me a survival check?
Okay. That's an 8.
Okay. So you're pretty convinced you know a good route. So describe to me, keeping in mind your 8 survival, the route that you take people on to get back to the northward.
Okay, so Sorrel knows a great route for goblins, which means that it's through the sewers. So not only is it very smelly, but it's sized for goblins. And we have a 6-foot-tall Eladrin and some other members who are a lot bigger trying to carry a drow through these muddy, stinky, small, cramped sewers.
Absolutely. And I think, you take a few wrong turns along the way, some unfamiliar parts, but you eventually come out on the sewer grate that is near Trollskull Manor. But it took a bit longer than you would have liked. So it is actually coming up on dawn when you get back. You had to, whack Solon in the head a few more times to keep him unconscious as you're dragging him bound and gagged. Yeah, exactly. But you finally do get home. So I'm gonna assume you can stash Solon in a few places. Actually, no, you don't have to come out the sewer grate. I forgot. You have a sewer entrance directly into your cellar.
Yes.
With the door.
With a door. And that may actually be a good place to stash Solon, because the only exits are the sewer door, which you can lock up and have goblins keeping a watch on, and the ladder. So while you're
We're gonna take away his rapier and all of that.
Oh yes, absolutely. And he does actually have a bag of that bad dirt, sorrel, the black powder. And he's got a heavy black powder pistol as well. And he's got he's got bullets for it and all that sort of thing, all the usual accoutrement. And let me just check something here. Yes, so he has that pouch with 20 pistol bullets, 4 packets of smoke powder. And he's got some very fancy boots on, as well as his rapier and stuff, as you're scoping and checking everything out. So while you're regrouping upstairs, is there anything sort of immediately pressing that anyone has?
I would give one of the bullets to Bent.
Oh yeah, Ben totally loves it.
Yeah.
Gnaws on it a little bit.
As a reward for.
He was part of the grumble, so he was actually out there. He helped in the capture, and he will not shut up about it. Like he like goes upstairs and like is regaling all the other young goblins with his escapades, and it grows in exaggeration every time.
Dolly, nothing like super pressing, before sleepy time comes, but Dolly would excuse themselves upstairs into one of the bedroom chambers, close the door and lock it, tell the rest of the group that they don't want to be disturbed and they can handle all of the interrogation shit. They don't care.
Okay. Excellent. Cleo? Sorrel?
I have to make my way back to the Blackstaff. So I am going to leave, but before I do, I stop over by Bent. I give him a little piece of sulfur and a little nugget of bat guano. And I hand these to him. I was like, you can play with these. They make magic, but don't smack them together. And I walk out the door.
I'm just imagining him doing the baby Groot, and it's like, what do you do? Don't smash? All right. What about Sorrel?
Sorrel
Or Sorrel, yeah, sorry.
is going to kind of, make sure that the goblins that are guarding Solon know that he is like a very dangerous man and don't like be alone with him, always guard him in pairs, don't take your eyes off him, all of that. And they are going to try to find a pallet to get some sleep, so that they can experiment with the bad dirt, both the black stuff and the dirt here at Trollskull Manor, that they want to bring this garden back to life.
Okay, perfect. And Thaddeus, any sort of final things?
No.
Or sorry, I meant sticks. But yes, Thaddeus, you had the bullet exchange. Yeah,
that was all I had.
I'm going to go back down one more time and double check the bonds and everything that we've had him tied up with, and make sure that he's not moving, but at the same time not in any pain.
Yeah. You've got some experience in the restraints. Yeah, so I think that's no problem. You have people all together. So people sort of, I think retire to get a little sleep before they decide to question Solon. You're asleep only for a few hours because it was sort of dawn. And early in the morning, as the alley comes to life, shops start to open, people start going around their business, you are all awakened by the sound of an immense explosion from just outside the tavern. You can actually feel the walls shake as this explosion just whoops through the whole building. Several of your windows are actually blown to shards inside, sending like glass flying through some of the rooms. And you hear some screams outside and the smell of smoke and fire. And that's where we're going to end for the day.
Ben, no.
All right. So on that note, we're going to leave that. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We're still hovering around 22 viewers, but you know what? Since it's my money, I am going to unlock the giveaway anyway, because I'm going to say that is close enough. So everyone who is viewing, please type the keyword heist in chat over the next couple of minutes as we finish and wrap up, and that will enter you into the draw, qualifying you for a copy. Of course, our regular players and stuff on our streams and us fellow DMs are not eligible. But yes, please go ahead and type that, and you should I'll keep an eye on this and make sure it is marking people with eligibility. I don't know if it's working, but it should be.
Bot.
Yeah. I see. No, it is caps. It should be caps insensitive. So, and I see that JTM 119 is entered, but I think that was already there from earlier. And so there's a couple
Smarticus
people
Rex.
there. But yeah, we don't have a lot of people who have typed it. Oh, yes. Yep. Smarticus Rex has just been added, and I see that has worked. So yes, please, more people enter. Type in Heist. And of course, our guest players are eligible because they're guests. So that is nice. So go ahead and enter if you're a guest. Family members are not excluded. So, you know, if your mom's watching, she can come in.
Can I enter for my cat?
Unfortunately,
Only
fur
if they can
babies.
type it on the keyboard.
Yeah,
Yes.
You know,
fur babies don't quite count. So yes, please, people, enter over the next few minutes. So yes, thank you for watching. I am Dan, your dungeon master. This is Variant Roles. We are one of 4 streams, 4 teams, all running Dragon Heist simultaneously. And as you've seen, as the stories progress, they are intertwining more and more, despite taking place at different times of the year. And we will reveal more of that as time goes on. You can find me on Twitter at MadSciDM, where I usually tweet about science and stuff and Dungeons and Dragons and other games. And as far as streaming goes, I'm always here. And occasionally, you know, get to guest on someone else's channel and do fun stuff. But you can find me here. So let us go out. And yeah, well, I'll let players go with favorite moments and all of that stuff first. So Nox, let's start with you.
So, geez, there's a couple in this one. Holy crap! How can I pick? 2 real quick. All of the goblin shenanigans, especially like the horde surrounding Dahlia, like just a visual image in my mind. It was
great.
like too good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then also the question that Dahlia asked Cleo at the end, and the answer to that is some fucking bullshit. So
I hope I am not being too cruel with player backstories.
no, I actually didn't expect you to do anything. I was just like, draw whatever. Like that's like a thing for Dahlia, so I'm just gonna play it up because it'll be fun. And I knew I wanted to ask Cleo at the end of the session, like before the session was out, like, do you know them? And I honestly expected like the answer to be like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then Dan's like, haha, but hey, guess what? I'm like, what?
Surprise.
All I can say is that the stars aligned.
So yeah, so those are my 2 favorite moments.
Perfect.
Outside of that, you can find me on the internet. It's on Twitter at NoxNocto, where I tweet about games, my life, other shenanigans. And I don't have any news as far as like games that I'll be in, except you can find me on Anaris' channel every Tuesday, playing in his Adventurers League game, where I play as my multi-classed warlock fighter who has dual wielding. So we'll see how Matt likes these new dual wielding rules, and if I want to play with those or not. Though I can't do it in Adventurers League anyway, so never mind.
Excellent. Alex, what about you?
Oh man, my favorite moment was easily when the rake became Shillelagh. That was great. I wasn't expecting it, especially because the shears were just used as like the weapon. So I'm like, okay, the rake's coming out. But then Hannah's like, oh, I'm gonna cast Shillelagh. I'm like, I loved it so much. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at AxolotlCure. I tweet again a lot about Dungeons & Dragons, a lot about Drow, a lot about wizards, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Excellent, thanks. Jeff.
Jeff, I think my favorite moment may have actually been the garden shears as a weapon. That was just very fun. And actually, all the interactions you had in common were great. I thought you did a very good job of the broken English type thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was indeed excellent. Yes, remember, anyone watching who hasn't typed in yet, if you are eligible for the giveaway, you can win a copy of Dragon Heist or Dungeon of the Mad Mage if you type Heist in the channel now to be entered. I'll roll it in a few minutes. Right now, it's looking like people who are entered have a 1 in 3 chance of winning. So
There you go.
Good.
Matt, what about you?
Oh, let's see. My favorite moment had to be my let's go sliding down on a missed tackle.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. And also the garden shears actually were right up there too. It's like, that's awesome. You can find me on Twitter at Learning Kim. If you're ever in Tuscaloosa, who knows? I might be your Uber driver one night. So come by and say hi.
Excellent. And of course, last but certainly not least, Hannah.
Oh gosh, picking a favorite moment is really hard. I think actually tasting the dirt and having Dan just roll with that. And that was a really fantastic way to start off. Had a lot of fun making this character and had a lot of fun playing with everyone. You can find me on Twitter at Wild Rose Mage, and I co-produce and play in a D&D show called Worlds Apart. You can find us on Twitter and watch on YouTube.
Excellent. Yes, and I will echo, if you don't watch it, you should, because it is fantastic. And support it on Patreon. It is a great effort, and we are always happy. I want to thank all the players for playing, all the viewers for watching, but in particular, Alex and Hannah for coming on when I just sent a message like, hey, so next week I got a slot opened up. Alex, I actually even only had a few days. Do you want to play? And I am so blessed that so many great people on Twitter are totally willing to come on and put up with my shenanigans.
Yes.
So I think that is just great. And you guys were both awesome and fantastic. And so, yeah, my favorite moment was also the tasting of the dirt. Because that's the kind of thing that I love to just roll with. And when I can channel a little weirdness on describing that, I don't know, it tastes wrong, it just doesn't taste right, and go with that, that is always fun for me. All right, so I am gonna roll this giveaway, and some people got a 1 in 3 chance of winning it.
Wait, what? I didn't enter.
I think you had entered. You must have just said Heist at some point, and I missed it.
Oh, you know what? I bet I said it. No, you can re-roll that.
I can re-roll it. Let's go. Okay,
There we go.
Smarticus Rex.
Yay!
Smarticus Rex, you are the winner. Let's see if
Awesome.
I can send you a whisper. I cannot, because I can't do it in pop-out chat. Okay, Twitch is telling me something weird. I'm going to add you as a friend, and I'm going to get in touch with you if you don't whisper me first, Smarticus Rex. But you have your choice between Dragon Heist or Dungeon of the Mad Mage when it comes out, and we will get that sent along to you. So yes, thanks everybody for watching, sticking around, and thanks to all of you. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night for the Summer Crew, who is always a fabulous trash fire of a show.
Yes.
I heard they actually had a real fire this time. So
Yes, they
are we now?
yeah, they've had some fires. So same time as us, so 9:30 or 8:30 Eastern. Sorry, I'm an hour ahead. 8:30 Eastern, they will be on, and assuming we hit another 25 viewers, which I'm pretty sure they will, then we will unlock another giveaway. And then be sure to tune in at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday for the Spring Crew with DM Corey and some other fabulous, fantastic players. And have a lovely Saturday afternoon. And then, of course, tune in Monday and Thursday next week to catch the winter and autumn cruise as we come back around with myself and DM Jazzy Hands, who is fantastic and hanging out in chat right now. So yes, thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will see you all next week. So goodbye.
Thanks,
See y'all.